Oh, is that working?
Yes.
That is working.
Welcome.
I'm excited.
Oh, this will be fun.
I want to be educated because I think I've been using Galaxy Harvester wrong this whole time.
Got it on my phone as well. Let me turn the headset on.
Yeah, you'll probably have to mute the stream so you don't hear it double.
I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't want to listen to me in two places, but okay.
All right, we there?
You are perfect.
All right, good. Sorry about that. So, when you want to make 80% composite, for example, you can make it normal, or you can try and make it super light. And if you want to make it super light, you have to use 3 of the stats, not 2 of the stats. So when you make composite and you just want it to be 80%, you just focus on OQ shock resistance. So the way that I would use Galaxy Harvester is you would pick a resource that you know is in composite. You would then get the schematic for the piece of composite, and it will show you at the bottom, it will say current best, and at the bottom it will say server best, like all time.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at the top, it's got 3 different boxes ticked. It's got the calculation for OQSR ticked, and it's got the calculation for MASR ticked. So if you just want to make composite that's 80%, you uncheck the one that's got MA in it, and it changes the resources because you no longer care about the MA stat. But when you want to make really light composite, you uncheck the one that's OQSR and you check the one that's MASR.
Mm-hmm.
And it changes the resources. So depending on whether I want to make 80% composite or super light 80% composite, I have to use different tick boxes on Galaxy Harvester. That's why there's no view of what's the best, because it depends on how I want the item to be.
Well, right, but doesn't unchecking those boxes is just filtering out resource stats that you don't care about, isn't it not?
Yes, correct. But you don't know what I want to make in the bot.
Well, right.
And
That's what I said, is the bot, you could specify with an argument, you could pass an argument into the command to filter for what stat you want.
Yeah, in that case, yes. I was just thinking about something that's just going to say, this is the best.
Oh, no. I would say you would do like exclamation point, resource, space, like we were saying, intrusive ore, dolomite iron, and then space like OQ or like SR,
Okay.
or whatever resource stat you're prioritizing.
If you wanted to make something really cool, and I guess that's what tick does, right? If you want to make something really cool, right? Is what you need to know is you need to understand the formula to actually get to 80%. Because as I was explaining on my channel before, you don't need server best resources to hit those caps. So actually, if you were to look at Basilisk by now, server best resource number 150 is going to make the same quality item as server best resource number 1. And that's the skill in crafting, is knowing that you don't need server best to make an item that's the same quality. That's the skill. That's how I make my money. That's expertise, but that's the killer. So if you were able to say, I want to make 80% composite, show me the resources I could use to achieve it, that's the winner.
Right. It's asking
that's the trial and the error. Mm-hmm. That's the trial and the error, right? So you have to keep trying things. And I'm doing it now with this padded stuff. I'm doing it on my channel, right? So it's like, I can use that resource and I can hit 36%, but I can use this other resource, which is already the 2nd or 3rd spawn, and still hit the same percentage. That's the skill. That's where crafters have to mess around, right? Because you basically take, instead of paying 10 CPU to achieve what you want, you can buy a resource that only costs you 2 CPU and achieve the same result.
So you're right, that is sexy, and that is what I like, that type of stuff to build.
Right? That's the one that you would want to build, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right? I think there's a tool on the forums which I think is called Galaxy Helper or something like that, or Crafter's Friend, I think it is, which I think has got all of the formulas in it. So you put in the weights of your resources. I think Neil used to use it quite a lot on Basilisk. I never did. But you put the resources that you've got and it tells you the item it's going to make.
See, I need that for my refrigerator. That's what I need for my refrigerator. This is all the stuff I have in there. Here are all the meals you can prepare.
Yes.
That would be lovely.
But this is the gourmet meals I can make, right? That's what you need to be able to say
Exactly.
to it.
I need
And
composite meals.
this is just the
light
the
composite
run the mill.
meals.
Yeah. Yeah, you need your. It's like I've got my ready to wear, right? And I've got my, I've got my custom crafts, right?
Well-
So, but that's the thing, right? If you could say, I want to achieve this, show me the resources that could achieve it, then people could see that they don't need the best. But then the crafting game's given away, right?
All right, but then it's given away because then I was like, well, and then the next thing would be show me what's available on the bazaar right now. Right? Here's your waypoint shopping list.
I was on the bazaar shopping, right? Right?
Well, see, it's funny you say that. Final Fantasy 14, I mean, obviously a very different system, but there are bots that you can get for Discord where you can literally type a command in and type an item name in, and it will show you exactly what is on the auction house on whatever server you're playing on at the moment you type that in. So I'm sure it'd be very different to get that working with Galaxies, but it would be very cool.
Well, and then we'll just have an entire guild that basically we'll call Uber, and we'll send them your bazaar list to go pick it up and bring it to your city.
Yeah. See, the other thing that I just noticed the chat, right? Because I think it's a bit of a delay. So the chat about I would push 80% comp heavy, right, but dirt cheap. I sold composite mini suits for 5,000 credits on Basilisk. And because of the strengths of the buffs, right, as soon as you got over like a 1200 buff, it didn't matter, right? So that's why I was making 5k mini suits. I was making them for resources I would pay like 0.4 CPU. You didn't need to buy server best resources to achieve 80% comp. So people couldn't understand how I made a profit in selling suits for 5k. They were like, this crazy nuts, you must be losing money. And it's like, no. Because you just buy trash resources because you know it doesn't matter. You still know that after a while you can still hit your goal because as soon as people would say this is server best or this is server second best or server server 50th best, right? That's fallen from grace and people just want to get shot of it, right? You just put a post on the forum saying buying any mineral for like 0.2 CPU because I'm going to put it in a recycler. I ain't putting a recycler, suddenly it's in the composite armor they're buying next week.
This is a TLC show in the making. Like hoarders, master couponers.
This is what we should be doing. We should be having people,
these conversations,
experts in their field of galaxies.
This is
just talking about how they do it.
This was so I nearly got into some Discord PvP right earlier today, right? There's a conversation going on and the line was something on the lines of it's really hard for new people. It's like, no, it's not. It's not really hard for new people because the server's 2 weeks old and the resource cap's at 90%, right? Week 2 resources are worse than week 1 resources, right?
Yep.
People have been used to 46% padded out of my shop, and now people need to get used to 36% Mabari, right? Because I can't maintain the 46% padded unless I use enhancements. So the price will go up, right? Because then I've got to handcraft it. So, but the comment of it's really hard for people starting. No, you could start Armor Smith in a year's time and you'll still make the same quality items if you know how crafting works. The trouble is people don't know how crafting works. And things like Galaxy Harvester send them down the wrong route because Galaxy Harvester says this is the server best, right? And it's like, but you don't need that to make the item, right? But that's why I love the game, right? That's why I've been playing it for like 18 years because it's you've got like this one layer, and then only when you run out of resources and you have to start substituting, you go, hold on a minute, but I've got the same result, right? And I'm not even covering off the fact that you've got decimal points behind the 79.xx, right? And knowing how much you need to, which resource will tip it over to make 79 turn into 80, right? That's a skill in itself, but it's a trial and error more than anything. But anyway, that's the conversation. So yeah, if you can make that, ultimately, if you could make what's in my head, right, you would expose the whole profession. Right?
Yeah, and I don't know if I want to do that.
But no, I enjoy it though. It's a good fun chat.
I think
a good
it's fun
Well,
to
it wouldn't.
imagine the things that
It
I would
wouldn't,
want to
because-
build.
Because this crafting game, it's not just about making the 80% composite armor. It's about supply chain management more than anything else, right?
It is. It is.
I mistimed my factories last night, and I ran out of armor, and I've run out of segments. So I'm like, we've got to wait, everybody. And I put my barker on my vendor to say, sorry, resources are in short supply. If you want your armor repaired, then let me know. Right? 'Cause, so I had no armor on my vendor for like 4 hours. Supply chain is much more important than this.
And
right?
Frelly's like, go ahead, and then we'll change the ratios. Well, I'll build them to be configurable in a file and not static. I got you.
See, I tell you what, Freddie, if you could, that would make it even more fun for people like me, right? That over time, the ratios change, right? One of the worst things that they did also when they were naming the resource, the stats, they called one overall quality, which is such a false friend, right? It's, its overall quality is important if it's Dolvo iron for medic, right? But it's not about overall quality if you're trying to make power hammers, right? It's unit toughness, right? So they named something called overall quality.
Yeah, overall, it's a misleading name.
Yeah, it's a
because
misleading
Yeah, it's
name.
terrible.
It leads you into believing that is like an average of all of the other stats.
Yeah, correct. Right, and so you see something with 999 overall quality,
Right.
you don't want to make a power hammer out of it because it'd be rubbish. so but that's that's just fun, right? That's why I love the game, because it's what's the name? But like I said, Galaxy Harvester sends people down the wrong route. It says this is the server best. So people post it. I used to laugh on Basilisk. There's a new server best spawned. It's like, well, server best for what? It's not server best at all. Galaxy Harvester says it's server's best because it mashes all the stats together, right? But yeah, if you were to make it dynamic, that over time, crafters would learn more and know that the resource is moving. So even to hide the percentage would wind people up, but you turn it into a trial and error game,
I
right?
want to ask you your thoughts on a suggestion that I've made in the past. And actually, Tick wasn't here for this. I don't think Forelli was here for this when I was talking about it yesterday either. If the staff were to implement some sort of, for lack of a better term, let me just say drought mechanic, where for like a month or two, no more than 2 months, but I don't think it needs to be that long. Let's say 1 month, a particular type of resource becomes extremely rare to find.
I'd love it. We're in it right now.
Yep.
I've said for the last 2 days, the armor's going backwards. We've had good resources in week 1. Week 2 resources are bad. So what was achievable in week 1 is not achievable in week 2.
See, because
Right.
Tick and I used to play a game called Escape from Tarkov, and they
Yeah, I
would
know
have
it.
events in that game where certain resources or certain loot would become exceedingly rare for like a month or 2, and it would drive the price of those
Oh my
items on
God,
the player
ridiculous.
market ridiculously high. So imagine signing into Galaxies and then being like, okay, the server is experiencing like an iron drought or something.
Yeah,
and
but
I don't know how they would explain it.
you would completely change the economy with just that. I mean, obviously we know that, but this, oh my God, like the way that the economy would change for drought periods, I would just want to study it.
I think that's a really, really cool idea, personally.
Just the same as some resources spawn in, some don't spawn in, right? Can't make composite right now. The only thing stopping me making composite today is berylous copper. Right? I can't make composite without berylous copper, right? I can't make beast armor without neutronium steel. So we're in it. You could argue we're in a drought right now. If those two resources are spawned in week 1, I'd have made composite week 1.
Yep.
Right? I can't make advanced composite because I don't have polysteel copper. I need polysteel copper for advanced segments. But as a person that's been playing for a long time and I'm thinking ahead, I've already made my layers for my composite. I've already got the resources for the composite segments. If berylous copper spawned right now, I could have a composite armor piece in my hand in 10 minutes. right? But other people will be like, well, I've got to make some layers now. That's going to take a day, right? And then I've got to make segments. So you could argue we're in that sort of drought that you're talking about. The trouble is, in Basilisk, and this is Basilisk dynamic of 10 toons and 100 lots, was that when the resources would not be in spawn, there would already be enough supply or remaining of the previous server best, or the previous second server best, or fifth server best. So because so much stuff was getting pulled out of the ground, you would never run out, because you could always run yourself through the drought period, right? If I was to log on Basilisk now, right, I've got 3 guild halls and they're full of resources, right? And so I'm not running out of anything.
Yeah, you're like me.
On here, it's going to become a problem. People are going to run out, right? I'm running out of hide, right? And then I go, I don't want to make that thing because it's like twice as worse as it was last week, right? So the way to, so everything's there, Freddy, right? It's already, I've got my colo iron, I've got my, I've got all the bits I need, right? It's just planning ahead, right? Planning ahead and planning advance and all that stuff. But yeah, so droughts happen in this game, but because of the way Basilisk was set up, people never experienced it, right? So you will get armor smiths. I nearly stopped being able to be make padded today, right? But I've managed to find, I've paid 10 CPU for Corellian Fiberplast, right? Because if I don't pay for it, I can make padded, but it's going to be garbage. So those droughts happen. The mechanic is in here already. The change of lots will make a big change on whether the player base feels it or not. Over time, no. But the way that you can fix that is you put a lifespan on the resource. So like you can hoard a load, you can have 100k brick, but the brick is going to be like cheese. It's going to go out, it's going to go off.
Yeah, we talked about that too. My only issue with that is I feel like that would put a lot of stress. Well, depending on how you implement it, if you're going to like slowly degrade resource quality over time, I think that would put a lot of stress on the database, with how many different stacks of resources there are out there across all the players to constantly be updating each.
No, because it's individually. No, it's individual, right? So just like a resource is a unique thing, right? No two resources are the same. Okay, they've got individual names. Mm-hmm. So that resource spawns for a 6 to 21 day period. Mm-hmm. And all you do is when you pull it out the ground, it then has a ticker timer that says it's only going to last in your inventory for 100 days.
Oh, so you're saying the stats remain the same?
Yes.
The stats remain the same until that expiration time, and then
it goes off.
Just disappears.
Just goes off.
All right.
Just goes off. Just the same as composite art. Just the same as armor degrades in quality, and if it hits 0, you can't get it back.
But you're not talking about degrading in quality. You're talking about an expiration period.
Yes. Don't degrade the quality. That just drives
so just
people
like
wild,
it dies on
right?
one day.
Hello there.
Yeah, because then you've got the do I make it or do I keep it, and that then stops resource hoarding. Right.
That is true, because that would completely change how I do any sort of crafting in any game.
Correct.
Like the pressure would be on for me to make decisions based on all those time elements.
Yeah, and sell it. You got to make it and sell it.
Okay.
If you don't sell it, you got to store it. Right. That's why I've got 2 master merchants. People are like, Larek, why do you need 2 master merchants? It's like, do you understand how many things I can chuck on vendors? Right?
Hello there.
Right? That's why I've got 2 master merchants. Right? I'm probably the only person that's going to roll 2 master merchants because I can't have storage houses because I need my houses for factories. Right? So I've got to store stuff on vendors. So I need a bigger item limit. Right? It's dodgy. I've lost vendors on Basilisk multiple times. But if you really want to it make that player experience that's 6 months in versus the guy that started yet last week.
Yep, that's exactly how you do it. It starts to balance.
Decay the resource.
Yep.
Decay the resource.
Exactly.
Right? So you're only as good as last week's performance, Mr. Crafter. right? I could log in Basilisk now, not having played for 2 years. I could have 80% composite armor made tomorrow.
Yep.
Right? But it stops that. Bear in mind though, there's a bit of appeal to that, but ultimately I think the keep it fresh is the thing that keeps people going, right? The reason I've played it for so long is because you're checking Galaxy Harvester all the time, what spawned, checking it at work. Oh my god, I gotta get home, get my harvesters down. Right?
See, Lark, what I
We're
think I
not like that at all, Larek.
Right? I'm working from home now, so it's gonna be
Me
super
too,
easy.
me too. I have to set up
Super
a separate
easy.
monitor.
Right, I've got a relatively good job, right? I work in a big corporation, right? Fortune 50 company, right? Should we be working at home more often? Yep, because we're playing Galaxies again. Yep.
We're gonna bring all the OGs back just because of work from home. Thanks, COVID.
I know my bad chef Tim. Tim, I praise you in my channel.
Yeah, so here,
It's the other chef that wanted to charge me 1,428 for a swig of Bespin port. And the reason they wanted to do that was because they were matching your price, and I was like, no, come on, that's a monopoly, that's a collusion, that's antitrust going on. That is right. I'm not drinking her brat. I'm not drinking her Bespin port. I'll make my own Bespin port, right? But yeah, I love this. I love these aspects of. It's 10 to 3 in the morning, right? All of my kids have come home today, right? And I should be tucked up in bed, but no, I love this discussion, right? But yeah, just put a time limit on the resource. Just set it ticking. That's it. So you can't put it out your bag 4 years later and still have OQ999 Skeven gas for making buffs.
nope, you're totally right. I actually love it. It would piss people off, but I love it.
Lark, I think what I like most about you is that you don't mind making the game more difficult in favor of fun.
In my, like I said, in that thing that I nearly turned into Larek from 2003 for a minute, but I'm a bit older and wiser today. But, I know that you can roll a fresh tune, right, and earn 30,000 credits an hour. Because here you get a free X31, right? Even you can just shuttleport hop with an artisan, right? If you just shuttle around with your first 1,000 credits or first whatever, right, you'll find 2 places with a 75% plus spawn, right? And then you can just hit the survey terminals. So in my mind, that piece of knowledge is it's done. We worked that out years ago, right? That was worked out on Basilisk, early days. The same way as you work out when I'm a new toon, I need to go and artisan. I need to harvest some carbonate ore. I need aluminium. Aluminium I really need, right? So when I do my sampling on the first 24 hours that I'm playing, I've got to make sure I spend time on this and that and that and that, and not sit on that steel for a week. You sit on that steel for a week, you can't make personal harvesters. What are you going to do? Where's your carbonate ore? Where's your aluminium? But these are things that have been, people have been thinking about for the last 10 years. Right? You could open up another server tomorrow, right? And I'll have my empire up, and Tim will probably have his empire up because we know how to play the game.
Yep.
If you then want to make it more fun, right, then you have to add on these extra dynamics, right? Because I've got 11 factories, right? There's 50 input hopper locations, right? When you're playing live and you're wandering around, or you're playing on Basilisk and you see a equipment factory in the middle of Dathomir, and you're like, what? Why is that here? It's because people are using it for storage, right? So people run out of storage because they've got the house. So you start using your factories to keep stuff, right? Right. So when you've played the game for so long, and I and a lot of people have, thinking of ways to make it more interesting, right? And by the way, sometimes I don't need it to be. It's interesting enough, right? Like if Beryllus Copper spawns, literally I've been updating Galaxy Harvester like every single 15 minutes today. I'm like, is it going to spawn today? Right? And then
doctors are looking for class 4 petrochem now because
right, I'm doing it now. I'm wondering if I'm jinxing it, but I'm doing it now. I'm refreshing Galaxy Harvester. If there's a Beryllus spawn, I'm not going to bed. Right? Not going to bed. Not here. Right, I'm going to go to bed in a minute. But thinking of ways to make
you and Tim are more similar than you think.
Larek, you and I are like this.
I think a lot of people that play this game are very similar, right? But a way to make the new player experience 6 months in as good and as interesting as the new player experience from week 1 is a great thing, right? Like buildings. I tell you what I really like. The change. Not that you've asked me, but I'm just chatting now. The change that they've made the change that they've made to harvesters, so it doesn't take money from the bank. That is the most awesome change, right? Because harvesters are going to blow up, right? Architects are going to still be making harvesters in a year's time, whereas I've got my harvesters on Basilisk, right? And there was times when I'd forget them or not play the game for a month. They didn't blow up. They're still there. I might as well put made in 2005 written on them or something, right? Because they're the same harvesters. But here with the dynamic where they're going to blow up because they're not going to draw from your bank is a fantastic move. Decay is the thing that keeps the game fresh. That's why ADK's had to go, right? Because stuff decays. I played on Chimera server in live, and there was a guy called Carney Walker was his name. I won't forget it. He had an exceptional T21. It was down to the last 50 condition on this T21. And he sold it. 2 days later, ADKs came out. Right? Literally, the guy was crying for a week. Right? But when they didn't exist, he had to make decisions. Do I keep it? Do I sell it? Do I keep it? Do I sell it? Do I use it? Do I put it on a wall? Do I use, as soon as ADK came out, you don't have to worry about that. Put your ADK on it, put it on the wall, use it when you want, show off your mates, lend it to somebody, get it back, doesn't matter, right? So the more things that decay in the game, by the way, I would include city structures, civic structures, right? So if you want to do a topic on running towns, right? I could go off, we could do a whole series of running towns, right? And the challenges for a mayor where they give zoning rights to somebody in their town who drops a tent, who puts 4 years maintenance on it, stops playing a week later, right? And you're stuck with it.
I don't know anybody
Right,
like
it's
that.
like-
We had that exact problem in our city on lock on Basilisk.
Right, but go to Imperial Outpost on Basilisk. I don't have that problem because all of those merchant tents are on my lots, and I'm the mayor, right? So things around structures decay, unless you're the active mayor, get free lots for the active mayor for the civic buildings. There's so much you could do with play cities that will stop them looking like Sao Paulo, right? And it's just this sprawl that happens, right? That's uncontrollable and messy, and getting stuck with a building is horrible. Early days of Bass, I gave someone zoning rights. They dropped a merchant tent, and Niffa was so super awesome. I was like, how long is that going to be there? I know you can't tell me, probably, right? You can't go in that structure and you can't look about how long it's going to be there, right? But how long is that structure going to be there, Niffa? Because I need to make plans for this town, right? We're going to get PvP bases. What am I going to do with the gardens? And Niffa was like, it's going to be there a long, long time, Larek, right? 2 years later,
Really did the same thing for me in our
2 years later, that tent blew up.
Oh,
The person hadn't
my
played
God.
for 2 years, right? I was like, can you, is there anything in it? Do you mind packing it up, Niffa? Can you destroy it accidentally, right? Niffa was like, no, I'm not doing any of that, right? It's going to be there a long time, Larek, right? And don't ask me, right? But when that happened, that's when it taught me. You don't let people put houses in your city if you're the mayor,
Nope.
right?
You know what we
You
did?
don't give zoning rights.
This is
You
off
just
topic.
you transfer it. Transfer
Yes.
every structure.
That's what we
So
did.
if you go to Basilisk now, Basilisk footprint is the same footprint it's been for the last 10 years, and it will stay like that unless Neil gives zoning rights to somebody, right? Because he's the current mayor. Because I stopped playing, but yeah, I'd love to get in those conversations. Love to have lots of chats about how to make this game amazing. Politicians, an awesome profession. It's rubbish, but just the concept of it is awesome, right? Of what you could do. The fact that I've got to go to the hotel to go and get my event things, right? So I've got to go from Imperial Outpost on Basilisk. I've got to go to Bestine. I've got to go to the hotel. I've got to go to the guy to buy the ATST to stick it in my town. Don't make me have to do that. I'm a master politician, right? Right, I've got to go and get a recruiter. I can go and drop an Imperial recruiter in the city because we can go and do some PvP event. But he's only going to last 8 hours. It's like, oh, come on, right? Come on, I'm the mayor, right? Come on. Why don't I get better rights? So, theming cities, but I'll have to stop, right? But there'd be great conversations.
It sounds like that would be fun. We need to do that.
We're gonna make a series.
You could do a series Q&A with people that have been around a long time and ideas, and do it like this. These chats, right? I can't get involved in massive discussions in Discord about. Right, I haven't got the time for it, but I would absolutely have the time for an hour's discussion about the top 3 things I would do to make Star Wars Galaxy's EMU better. Right, top 3 things: decay structures. Give politicians more ability, as in free lots for civic buildings, right? Just 2 of them. And I have to pick what the 3rd one would be. But they would be the first 2.
Well, we'll give you a few days to think about your 3rd one.
Yeah, no, it's all right. I've really enjoyed the chat, by the way. I've really enjoyed it. I'm loving this whole Twitch mechanism and thing that's going on with the game.
Doesn't it completely change it?
I'm crafting armor for people. If you watch any of my VODs, right? It's like, what colour do you want your padded? What about this colour? Do you want this one? I know you said black, but what do you think to this grey black? Is that good? Right? So I've had people come, they're like, I want black, right? Just give me black, and they've walked out grey black, right? Because you show them the colours on Twitch.
Yeah, it's a whole different dynamic, this and Discord.
Right? So if you see loads of people running around in padded, like that fella standing there, what's his name? I don't know what his name, right? He's got a black padded helm, right? He's got a black padded chest plate, right? That looks like Larek off the shelf. That's the ready to wear range. Black. Right? But you'll see people running around. I did a red black earlier. I did a green, right? I've done all sorts of colours. I've done a custom pink Tantal helm. All possible when you're doing it on Twitch, right? You could do something similar, like you have the mechanic for. I like doing it on Twitch though, right? Because it's real time and it's fun. But the same way as you've got the mechanic for image designer, where you say, "Do you want these ears? Do you want these? Do you want this nose?" You do it on image designer, and then you say, "I accept." Right? You could do the same for armor crafting.
Ferrari said, Larek off the rack, now available at Macy's.
Yeah. I talk about it. The ready-to-wear range. The ready-to-wear range is black.
How cool would it be if there was like a terminal that a customer could go up to?
Couture by Larek.
A terminal that a customer could go up to in your house, double click on, that gives them a drop down of all the clothing items in the game and a palette so that they could choose a specific outfit down to the color and then click.
Right, Tantal helm, right? I see Tantal helm on your screen right now, behind the guy with just the cloak on, showing his muscles, right? Right behind there. There you go. Tantal helm. And right, that's Larek ready to wear range. That's come off my vendor. I'm telling you, that's come off my vendor. Right? That Mabari black. The black boots, padded boots, and the black Tantal helm. That's Larek ready to wear, whoever that is, right? I can spot it. The thing about that, Mobius, right? As soon as you make it that they can send you an email that says, I want an L3P6 chess piece, it becomes an email process, right? Right? And then you lose the interaction between the 2 players. If you did it the image designer way, where you're both standing there having a conversation. Think about Taylor, right? Taylor's got like a bajillion combinations of colours.
Yep.
You can't, it's like, how do you display them in a shop? You can display Riz armor, all the combinations for Riz armor, right? Because there's not that many, right? And some of them are just ghastly and you wouldn't even make them, right? But Taylor's got so many combinations, but you'll see so many people running around in black shirts, right? Or black padded thing, but the galaxy could be a lot more colourful as well, right? So yeah, there's things you can do to make the game more interesting and fun and more interactive. I'm definitely doubling down on interaction between players, right? I said on my channel I played Basilisk. I probably didn't speak to somebody for like 3 years. Just logged in, did my stuff, sorted my harvesters out, did mass production, didn't talk to a single soul, didn't need to, right? Here I'm like, I need to buy some resources, please. Right? I've got a list of rangers written down. Right? It's literally back to the days of live where you need to know people, right?
Mhm.
So anything that promotes that, I'm also a big fan of.
So I have to ask, because now I'm just curious. Did you ever play Eve?
I failed the tutorial in Eve. That's not a joke. I genuinely failed the tutorial in Eve.
Wait, were you the
No,
one
my
that
big-
said the other day you found the tutorial, hit the wrong box, and you couldn't get back in?
Yeah, I just flew off
That was
somewhere.
you.
I'm like, flew off somewhere. I was like, I don't know what you do now. I don't know. I spent a lot of time in WoW. I raided 6 nights a week. I spent more time in Galaxies than than at work probably. My accounts, time played, but no, Eve was not one for me. But I've done most of the other AAAs, right? But no, but this one, it's just got so many things. I was, and then I do have to go to bed in a minute, but I said, I can't make 46% padded anymore. This is like 2 days ago. I said, I can't make it. I'm running out of polymer. I'm running out of hide, and the new stuff is rubbish. I can't make it. So what am I going to have to do as a salesman, right? Am I going to start knocking out 40% padded and think that's okay? For me, that's terrible. So what I have to do is I have to find a compromise. I have to launch my range of 41% padded and put in it some resources that I don't really want to put in it. But then I also need to start stepping it up and giving the customers a 50% padded option by using segments or using Vorator scales, right? So right now, I have to spend more time in game handcrafting stuff to give the customers a continual selection, so it doesn't look like stuff is going downhill, right? If we don't get a better spawn in another 2 weeks, we won't be achieving those things either. But the game will spawn enough resources, right? That it should be all right. But yeah, it's I love these chats.
So
These chats
basically,
about
all of
Star
us are
Wars.
going to have much poorer reviews at our workplaces this upcoming year.
Yeah, maybe. But do you know what? My job, the things I've learned about how to run businesses in Star Wars Galaxies are what made me successful in my personal life.
Isn't that so true, though?
Right? I've run stores,
Mm-hmm.
and I've upgraded, and it's supply chain management, and it's customer experience.
Mm-hmm.
If I walk into someone's, this is a funny bit. I'm not very happy right now because I haven't really decorated my shop, and it's a couple of weeks in. I've just got vendors that are standing against columns. I put like a couple of torches to fix some lighting challenges in the house, right? But I haven't done any decoration, right? And I'm like, you got to be on that, Larek, right? You can't be sitting here with a basic house in 4 weeks' time, right? When they do the first, SWGEmu,
House
when
show off
Mobius goes on his
walkthrough.
tour, right? Where do you want to live on Finalizer, right? Right, like
And
you
they're
did
like,
about where do you want to go shopping?
And here's
right?
Larek, a long-standing player
Yeah.
of the game, 16. What happened to his
Yeah.
house?
Yeah, I don't want to be,
You
I'm
don't
trying
want to be
think of some names
judged.
now, right? I'm just trying to think of some names. Right, I'd rather be Super Target than Walmart. That'll probably work for people,
Super
right?
Target than Walmart.
Right? Right? I can't do it, right?
I could show off your work here.
Right? But look at that poor fella on the left, right? He's in starter clothing, right? He's not even done anything to change his starter outfit. The fella needs a new outfit. This person with padded purple, that's good. That's good. That's stuff I made for you. But I need to sort your trousers out. You need a pair of camo pants to go with that, right?
You don't like
Larek,
these
I have a special
pants?
treat for you before you go to bed.
Right?
When you have a chance, look at my new Discord avatar profile picture.
He changed it. That'd be awesome.
Oh my God.
But
We're nerding out.
so yeah, I'm expecting that, right? I'm genuinely expecting you to go on a tour, Mobius, right? Here's the top 5. Here's the top 5 destinations
Believe me,
on
as soon as
Finalizer week 1.
As soon as there's a big mall opening up, there'll be a video about it. We don't have, as far as I know, we don't have like a South Coronet or a South Isley Mall on the server yet. Maybe there is, and I just don't know about it. But
I'm not sure.
If anybody out there starts one up, let me know.
I think Finalizer is the server of the independent boutique.
Yeah.
more than it is of the mall,
It's
right?
it's
Because-
funny. We're gonna be
Careful
doing
then.
we're gonna be doing advertisements as part of this podcast, or this
Right.
Twitch stream. So Taslin and I are gonna have you guys like advertise, and we're gonna do your bits for like visit Larek shops located at Waypoint. Blah blah blah. Today's sale is black on black pattern.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. It'll be the voiceover.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
So can we get that implemented as well, Frelly? Can we get that instead of the guys that just shout spartle? Can you just put like proper voice effects in it, right?
That would be nice. You'll have to just settle for me on Twitch now.
So yeah, but I think Finalizer is will be the server of the independents, and I think that's because of one particular thing. Big malls require a good supply chain, and big malls to be successful. If you think about all of those malls, South Coronet Mall, South Isley Mall, me when I was running my own mall, even though it's all my own vendors in it, right? Because I've got so many crafting professions. They, if they don't have supply of product, then people delete the waypoints, right? You go to someone, you buy something, you might mark the waypoint, or if the person's smart, they might send you an email back and say, "Here's the waypoint for my store. Thanks for coming." Right? If they go back to that store again and it's half empty, it's going to get deleted out the data pad, right? That's
Right.
the way that I perceive the experience.
Because I don't
for
know when
players,
you're
right?
restocking. I don't know if you went AFK
Correct.
for months. Like, yeah.
And there's a fine balance between, and I haven't worked it out yet, and I don't think a lot of other people will have done, just how much stuff can I make and just how much stuff can I sell, right? I can't clothe the entire server. So what's that going to mean? My vendors are out of stock 90% of the time. Who wants to go to that mold? Nobody. Right?
Not me.
Right? But so I think the dynamics of how to get a customer base on Finalizer is different than it is on Basilisk. It's more like it was on Live, and things would come and things would go. The other thing is, I've rolled Double Crafter, right? I talk about that a lot. I don't think that Abe's going to stay as Double Crafter.
Oh, that's a really good point. With the fewer tunes available on Finalizer, malls are going to be a lot harder to create.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right. So because where are all the merchants coming?
Yep.
Right. So what am I doing? I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm gonna keep 4-ish lots free, because I think there's still going to be player cities. You drive around, you see them, right? But I think it's more going to be merchant tents in cities, right? And it's going to be more localized shopping, a bit like Costa was thinking about when he was trying to design the game, right? Than it is mega mall. If you put a mega mall right now, the place would just be cleared out tomorrow.
Yep.
And then people will be like, "That's rubbish. There's no stock there." Right? So you've got to be.
Think about the character implication until just now. Yeah, I don't know if we'll see malls for a year or so.
There's going to be somebody who's going to come back from OG time and try to do it, not realizing these issues.
I don't imagine we'll see them as prevalently. We definitely won't see them as many as there were on Bassi. Maybe one or two.
No, people won't have the merchant. They won't have merchant free for the stock, right? And to be able to place the number of vendors.
Yeah, no.
But what you will get, and I tell you, it's happening. You get a resurgence in the bazaar sales. Okay, so if you look at the moment, if you look at vendors versus bazaar, I would say that at the moment, 80% of the product is on bazaar, not vendors. Right? I think there's a reason for that, and I think the reason is because people aren't just chucking artisan on the tune and getting business 1 or 3 or whatever it is and getting a house and chucking a vendor, right? People are using the bazaar a lot more because they don't have to have a vendor, which means they don't need artisan in their template, right? So I think we'll see what happens, but as a crafter with a reputation that I would imagine is, I would like to think it's middle to good, right? About availability as well as quality, I would be very nervous about sticking my brand into a mall that maybe half the people can't maintain the vendors in it, right? If you saw how South Coronet Mall declined over the years, this like slow and painful death of that establishment from its heyday, right? I deleted the waypoint and I changed to South Isley Mall. When I needed stock, I went to South Isley Mall. I'd stopped going to Coronet Mall,
Yep.
right?
I even did a
so-
video of the death of Southcore in that mall.
Right. So I think Finalizer could be the boutique. The Nikita Marketplace on Baz, if I understand anything about it, I think it will be like Queen's Market on Naboo and Basilisk when Basilisk started, which I think there was a bunch of people, they knew each other, they invited random crafters to come and be in the city, and it grew and then it died. I don't know the reason for it, right? But I know that the city existed and then it didn't exist. If you build a city and you attract too much volume, it will be your undoing. Right? I ran a city on live just after the CU hit called Commerce City on lock on Chimera. Its popularity was its downfall. And that was a city where I constructed it with guild halls, and guilds would have their guild hall in my trading town. If you drag too much player base to one place, you go out of stock, and then it's your fall from grace. Whereas as an independent crafter, which is what I would call myself at the moment, I can run out of stock. I can put a message on my vendor that says, sorry, I've got a supply chain problem. Right? Come back tomorrow and all should be good. Right? And I think that customer will come back the day after. Right? But if I go to a mall and 80% of the vendors have got like 4 items on them, not going there again. Time is precious. Time is money. Anyway,
It's true.
That's it. I love the topic. I love the thanks for listening. I love the chat.
Thanks for coming and hanging out with us.
You're welcome. But yeah,
Yeah, man, you'll come back whenever. Just let us know if you got something you want to talk about.
yeah. So I look forward to. I'm the way that LK and the team were chatting the other day when they said that they wanted to work out a way to have discussions with the player base on changes that could happen. Right. This is the sort of thing I would love to be doing. Right. And I would, I'm sitting here, my tune's not moved. I've been chatting for about 40 minutes now. I've not made a single thing. Right.
It's 3 o'clock in the morning, your time.
We didn't mean to keep you.
No. It's my choice, right? I'm choosing to sit here and chat about it because I enjoy it. Right. Sleep I can get later, right? Craft now, sleep when I'm dead.
How'd you spend your life? I spent it grinding in Galaxies, and I'm good with that.
Well, see, I've had a lovely time, right? So in terms of the Galaxy's launch, so my other half's German. She goes home for Christmas. She takes my kids to go and see her family, and they get a good dose of German language, and I don't dilute it by speaking English. So I've been home alone for the Christmas period, and they all came back this evening, and I'm like, now I've only got like 4 hours a day in the game, right? How am I going to do that, right? I can't do 16-hour streams, right? So I've got to sort my supply chain out, right? And I've got to make my shop look like I'm here, even if I'm not here, which is why I've made vendors. I've got one vendor called Larek, and I've got another vendor called Larek, right? So if people aren't looking fast, they might even think I'm standing in the shop, right? This is the mind of a crazy person, right?
Tell me you have the remote access on your phone at least.
Like I said, working from home now. So it's all good. It's all good, right? So yes, that was it. Love to chat. Love to talk. It was super fun. Thanks for listening to me.
Yep.
And if anyone wants any hints and tips on how to make bajillions, right, then let me know.
Yeah,
Crafting
definitely hit Larek up, and he streams as well and has videos of the day. So if you're not following him already, you should be after this little chat. So I'll look up his link and stick it in my Twitch chat.
Or yeah, just Larek, just type in chat.
Just type in chat where people
wasn't
know.
meant to be an advert. No, it's not. I'm not coming to advertise.
Listen,
It's just joking.
Listen, let's just be clear. I doubt highly that you and I are here streaming so we can get rich. That's not what my motivation is. So any sort of community share about the game, I'm all about. So just go ahead and do it.
Yeah, you're right. So that is the case.
I mean, it really is. We have full-time
Thanks,
jobs that are everything else. This is the community betterment that we're part of. Anybody else who's trying to make money and get rich, I mean, I guess, first of all, I don't know why you're just streaming Galaxies, because there's not enough of a population.
There you go. Just look for Larek_GG and you'll find me on Twitch.
Perfect.
All right. That's that. Right. Anyway, See you later. Have fun in that cantina. And just remember, anyone that comes in that's in padded and they're in black,
I'll be
right?
like, is that
Black
Larek's?
helm. Let's just say, is that Larek's ready to wear range? Did you buy that off his vendor? Right? Right. See you later. I'm
Right.
off. Ta-da.
Man.
Bye.
See you later. Ta-da.
It's too much fun.